Where was your first NBA memory, college basketball memory, All-Star game memory? I'll tell you mine. And I remember thinking about it, and I actually watched it back on YouTube this morning because I was like, am I remembering this correctly? So my first All-Star game that I remember watching, and yes, I'm old, 1991. East beats the West 116-114. Back when, like, I'm a Knicks fan, where it really mattered rooting for the Eastern Conference to beat the West in the All-Star game, where it felt like everything East versus West in the All-Star game. So Kevin Johnson, who was formerly the point guard of the Phoenix Suns, attempts a three-pointer to win the game at the very end. And for some reason, I remember thinking that I'm like 7 years old, I'm almost 8 years old in the moment, thinking, why did he do this? Karl Malone, like, jumps up and, like, stops the ball from going in. Like, basket interference. Like, did he think it wasn't going to go in? Did he think it was going to be an air ball? Kevin Johnson's like, what the hell are you doing? It looked like it was going in and the West was going to win. We were going to have this great photo finish. West 117, East 116. Instead, Karl Malone screws it up. The East gets the ball. They inbound it. They win by 2. Michael Jordan's fist pumping. You could tell that it meant something to these athletes. You can tell that it meant something to them. And that All-Star game kicked ass. And the reason why that All-Star game kicked ass, and why so many NBA All-Star games have absolutely kicked ass in the past, is because the players respected the game. They respected the game. And they might not have played it with the intensity of Game 7 of the NBA Finals, but damn it, they tried to win. And you felt it as a fan. You felt it. It meant something to them, and so it meant something to all of us watching. And it was presented All-Star Weekend as if basketball was awesome. And it is awesome. What a novel concept, right? Basketball's great. Let's have fun because it is. Let's treat it like it's awesome. What a concept, right? The life corollary that I'll give here, and I sincerely hope that, like, I experienced this in my life. I hope that you haven't in yours. But even if you haven't, I think you'll understand and maybe you can apply what I'm about to say to an experience in your life, right? But my parents got divorced. I think a lot, unfortunately, like a lot of marriages end in divorce. I hope mine doesn't, but a lot of marriages end in divorce, right? So if you're a child of divorce, like me, and your parents get divorced, this is like if you watch your mom or your dad get into a new relationship, right? And it doesn't have to mean that the new boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or spouse or whatever, it doesn't have to mean that that person is abusive, like physically or emotionally or mentally or verbally. It doesn't have to mean that. But maybe you've watched your parents, or again, apply this to something else in your life experience, where you've watched, in this instance, your parents be in a relationship where you feel like the new partner doesn't treat your mom or your dad the way that they deserve to be treated. That they don't get treated with the love or the respect that you know that they should be treated with. It's probably going to, if you're like an empathetic person, like a good son, a good daughter, in this example, that's something that's going to stick in your craw. And it's something that's going to piss you off. Even if you don't hate that person, hate that spouse, you can be angry and say, why isn't this better? Like, why is my parent settling for this? Why is this what it is? This can be so much better than what it is. And then one day, let's say it's Valentine's Day weekend. You see that spouse makes an effort and treats your mom, treats your dad the way that you feel like they deserve to be treated, with love and treated with respect. Enter present day. And let's turn it to basketball. Here's the 2026 NBA All-Star Game. Now, you are not going to hear me say that this All-Star, I don't even know what it was, honestly. And I was thinking, what if I had to forget about a non-sports fan? Like, let's say I'm friends with a sports fan, and the sports fan head has been in the sand and has no idea what this format is. And like the next morning, I had to try to explain to this person what the All-Star game was. How long would it take for me to explain it? Like 10 minutes? Like 5 minutes? Easily. At least 5 minutes of explanation. I'm not even sure what the hell it was that I watched. I mean, like, I get it, the round-robin format with 3. Like, I understand. It was also, it's a little complicated. I don't know that we need to complicate it to this degree, but maybe we do. So I'm not going to lie or BS all of you and say that the 2026 NBA All-Star Game, or games, plural, is going to go down alongside, the 87 All-Star Game, or the 91 game that I've referenced, or Magic Johnson returning in 92, or the crazy East comeback in 2001 with Stephon Marbury and Allen Iverson. I remember watching it. Or Michael Jordan's last game in 2003, Mariah Carey in the Washington Wizards dress. A seminal moment in the life of young straight men everywhere in this country. I'm not going to say that it was to that level, but I'll tell you what, it was way better than what we've gotten recently. Way better than what we've gotten recently. And the reason why it was better, it's because they treated it with respect. And it was like a celebration of basketball. Again, what a novel concept. Something that we all love is being treated with respect and being loved by the people that are participating in it. It is a guaranteed formula for success when it comes to basketball. And that perspective, right, that I just laid out, the prism with which we can view things through, doesn't it make the problems that the NBA is having right now, doesn't it feel a little different? And I said it last week here on the show. We had Zach Harper on. My last show last week was Wednesday. We had Zach Harper on the show from The Athletic and SiriusXM NBA Radio. And I said to Zach Harper, like, are we sure that Adam Silver is the right guy to be leading the NBA right now? And this is not to say, like, I had this first, because this was a huge topic heading into the weekend, right, amongst NBA media, national media. A lot of people feel this way. I'm not the only one that said it. But just to say, like, I said it, you listen to the show, you watch the show, you know that I'm on record saying this before it became, like, a massive, massive thing heading into the weekend, and Adam Silver's giving the press conference, and he's answering questions. It's like, feels like existentially, like, almost like the life of the NBA is at stake here. And like the integrity of the league is at stake here. Does Adam Silver actually care about fixing the NBA? Because right now, you can juxtapose what happened last night in the All-Star game with what the Utah Jazz are doing, which is like spitting at the integrity of the league like Seabass spits into Jeff Daniels' sandwich in Dumb and Dumber. And his hat said, wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em, which I always think is one of the funniest things in that movie. Or like your Jamar Chase spitting at Jalen Ramsey and hoping the cameras don't find it. That's what the Utah Jazz are doing. And yeah, there's an argument to be made, sure, that the NBA, the system's broken. Because Utah's never going to attract the big free agents, and that's not an insult to Utah. Just is what it is, right? So in order for the Jazz to one day be great, like, they got to get Darren Peterson. They got to get A.J. DeBonsa, Cam Boozer, insert great college freshman from this year. And the way to do that is to lose games. And intentionally lose games. And look, they're taking it to another level, but tanking's been a problem in the NBA and load management's been a problem in the NBA for quite some time. And I don't claim to have, like, the grand fix. Honestly, like, I think you make the schedule shorter, you eliminate back-to-backs, but it feels like that's never going to happen. That feels like it'd probably be a pretty good solution. It does feel like we've reached a tipping point now. And that everyone collectively has had enough with the NBA regular season, this bastardized, perverse version of the NBA regular season, something that we all love, and whatever the hell this has turned into and morphed into and degenerated into. And I'm happy about that, because it should be enough. Because you see last night what happens when you love and respect the game, how much fun it can be. Like, we are all in. We love basketball. We're going to watch. Can you respect the product? Now, I want to be really fair. I'm not insinuating that the majority of teams in the NBA don't respect the product and that teams aren't trying to win. There are awesome regular season games all the time in the NBA. I'm not saying that every night sucks and every game sucks and that all teams aren't trying. That's not what I'm insinuating at all. But there's enough of it on a daily basis, and we can bring load management into the equation as well, where we can all say, like, this sucks. And it doesn't suck because basketball sucks. It sucks because the respect level isn't there. The respect level isn't what it should be. And I'm hoping now that kind of everyone's on Adam Silver's ass. And people are pissed. And now that there's some positive momentum actually coming out of NBA All-Star Weekend, that we're going to get this situated. And Silver's talking about hitting the nuclear op. Like, I think it'll eliminate the NBA draft to dissuade tanking. No more lottery. I have no idea what they're going to do. All I know is they have to do something. Because it can't go on like this. And you saw last night, again, no one's asking for, like Michael Jordan to come out of retirement. That would be pretty cool. Better than him at the Daytona 500. To come out of retirement and play in the game. Like, that's not what this has to be. It doesn't have to be the greatest all-star game of all time. It doesn't have to go to triple overtime. It doesn't have to be that. Can the players try? Can there be a fundamental level of respect for the proceedings? For us. For basketball. The bar couldn't be lower. I think it's all we're asking for. And last night, and this weekend, you have to give the NBA a lot of credit. Because for as low as that bar might be, they cleared it. And they delivered. On the other side, we'll get into some of the principles, some of the players that made All-Star Weekend great, some of the stories that made All-Star Weekend pretty awesome, including Damian Lillard on a torn Achilles, like Kurt Angle with a broken freaking neck on Saturday night in the three-point contest. We are just getting rolling here. Magnificent Sports Monday. You bet Westwood One Sports with